So this is 2017 paper 1, and we're looking at question 2 here. So this is dealing with complex numbers. So what we have here is we have the complex number z1, which is a plus bi, so the real and the imaginary. And it tells you that I squared is minus 1, and it's shown in the Argand diagram below. So write down the value of a and the value of b. Well, z1 is here. So if you were to write down what z1 would be, so your real would be 3, and your imaginary would be a minus 1. So that would be a minus 1i. So it goes down to minus 1 here. So as a result, a is the real, so a is 3, and I is the imaginary, and that's the minus 1. And that's how you plot that one. So for part 2 then, you have to plot Z2 onto the Argand diagram. So you have to go to minus 1, and then you have to go to plus 2. That's it there. And you have to make sure that you label it as well. So I can see that that's it there. And I need to label it as Z2. So that's my point there. So I went minus 1 on the real, and I went up 2 on the imaginary. And it's always really important that you label it or you won't get the marks. So for plotting them is 5 marks, and for the first part here was 5 marks as well. So this is 2017 paper 1 question 2 part 3. So we have Z3 here, and we can see it's made up of Z1, which in part 1 we can see that that's 3 minus I. So I'm just going to slip that in, and then I can see that Z2 from part 2 is minus 1 plus 2i. So just for setting that up, you'll get marks for that. So this is a fraction, so this is actually division. So in order to simplify this fraction, you're going to have to multiply above and below by the conjugate of minus 1 plus 2i. And the conjugate of minus 1 plus 2i is minus 1 minus 2i. Because all you do there is you change the imaginary sign from a plus to a minus. And if it's a minus, then you change it to a plus. So then I just follow the rules of fractions, so top by top, bottom by bottom. So I do 3 minus I by minus 1 minus 2i. And I multiply them together. 3 by minus 1 is minus 3. 3 by minus 2i is minus 6i. Minus I by minus 1 is plus I. And minus I by minus 2i is plus 2i squared. So what I'm going to do next is simplify as much as I can. So I have minus 3 minus 6i plus I is minus 5i. And then I know from the first question that anywhere that I see I squared, I sub in minus 1. So minus 3, this is now going to become minus 2, because 2 by minus 1 is minus 2. So minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5, and minus 5i is on its own. So that's the top part simplified. And I'm writing it in the form of x plus yi, so I'm writing it in the form of x first followed by y, which is the real followed by the imaginary. So now I need to do the bottom by bottom, which is again just the rules of fractions. So I'm multiplying 1 plus 2i by minus, sorry, that should be a minus 1 plus 2i by minus 1 minus 2i. That's just the bottom parts of the fractions here. So minus 1 by minus 1 is plus 1, minus 1 by minus 2i is plus 2i, 2i by minus 1 is minus 2i, and 2i by minus 2i is minus 4i squared. Simplify what I can. So we have 1, these two cancel out, and then I have then I have minus 4 times I squared, which I know is minus 1. So then that turns to 1 minus 4 by minus 1 is plus 4. That turns to 1 plus 4, which is 5. So then I'm just going to put them together. So I'm left with Z3 is equal to minus 5 minus 5i all over 5. Or I can see that they're all divisible by 5. So that will give you minus 1. And and then that will give you minus 1i, which is just the same as minus I. And that gives you 10 marks for this question. For part B, this is 5 marks. So what they're asking to do here is to solve for z. So by solving for z here, you just try and simplify it as much as you can so far. So you've got some brackets here, so you have to work away with that. So 2z is your starting point. You can see there's nothing beside the 2z, that's why I'm keeping it as it is. With the brackets here, I have a minus 6 in front, so I do minus 6 by 4, which is minus 24. And here I do minus 6 by minus 6i, which is plus 36i. For the next part then, I can see there's two double brackets side by side, so I must multiply them together. So minus 1 by 4 is minus 4, and then minus 1 by minus 2i is plus 2i. Then I do I by 4, which is plus 4i, and then I do I by minus 2i, which is minus 2i squared. So I'm just going to try and see what I can simplify on the left hand side. So far nothing are like terms, so I can't simplify anything. And on the right hand side, I can see that I've got a minus 4, and then I have plus 2i and plus 4i, which is plus 6i. And then I know I need to sub in minus 1 here in for I squared. I'm just going to write it down one more time to simplify it. So minus 4, now minus 2 by minus 1 is now going to become a plus 2. So I have minus 4 plus 2, which is a minus 2, plus 6i. So what we're asked to do here is to solve it in terms of z. So that would suggest that you need to keep z on the left hand side. So I'm going to keep z on the left hand side. And I'm going to gather all the real and imaginaries on the right hand side. So the reals are going to become 20. This minus 24 is going to cross the equal sign to become a plus 24. And then 24 minus 2 is going to become 22. And here I'm going to cross the imaginary one, so the plus 36i is now going to cross to be a minus 36i. And minus 36i plus 6i is minus 30i. So remember, we're still trying to solve for z. We want z to be on its own. So because this is 2z, what I'm going to do now is just divide by 2. I divide them across by 2. That leaves me with z is equal to 11 minus 15i. And that is your answer there for 5 marks.